Hi, I'm Super Julie Braun, and I'm the founder and CEO of superinterns.com. And today's topic is get the best virtual interns for your Kickstarter. I'm really excited because this show is for entrepreneurs, inventors, visionaries. It's for masterful creators. And if you're thinking about a Kickstarter to help you get the PR, the social awareness, the community, and even money, then this is the show for you. And virtual interns, if you want to work for a really cool company like my guest here today, who I'm going to introduce in just a moment, this is the show for you because we're going to tell you a little bit about the sort of companies that go and get funded on Kickstarter. And if you're interested in that, then we're going to give you some insight. We're always here to help you if you need help. So if you are a entrepreneur, a startup, a business, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I need help, please go to superinterns.com. And Caroline is putting up our link right now. Click on services and reach out to us. We can help you get interns, virtual interns for your business. And if you are an intern or you are stuck in your career and you're trying to figure out what to do next, again, go to our website, click on services, and we'll be able to help you. So I just want to tell you, everybody that's on the show today, please tweet this out to your friends and also get it, tell your friends about us on Facebook. That would be really awesome. We want to build our community and our audience, and we're just all about education and letting people know, what's going on in business and in the world. And if you like what we say, you can give us props. And the props are in the corner, and they're the little hands. They're going like this. And right now, I'm going to give Tyler some props.
Yes.
And yeah, he's scoring high today. And also there's comments, and please ask questions and we'll be happy to answer those questions for sure. You're going to want to stick around if you are a business though, for sure, because at the end, I'm going to give a special offer to everybody. So let me introduce my co-host. Actually, I'm going to call you a guest today, Tyler Knutson, and he's the president of Plug Phones. And Tyler, we were really excited to get you to come on today because you're right in the middle of your Kickstarter. I mean, are you a halfway point or where are you in it?
So we decided to do a 45-day campaign, and we have 14 days left. So we're about 2/3 of the way through.
Okay, awesome. And before we get into Kickstarter and talk more about that platform and what that's all about, I'm dying to hear the bootstrap story. So you've got a great story, and your cousin. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So my cousin Sean Knutson and I were the co-owners of Plug Phones, and back in 2007, 2008, Sean was involved in real estate, and making a lot of money buying, selling real estate, holding on to real estate, renting it. And Sean, just like everybody else in the country, he got wrapped up in the real estate boom. But he was especially affected by it because he had so many properties, and he lost hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars when the real estate market crashed. And so unfortunately, he had to go from a job where he was interacting with individuals, that was very stimulating, challenging work, to having to get an hourly labor job, right? Pay the bills.
And what type of job was that?
He was working at a glass factory down in southern Utah, and they were making glass panels for high rises and casinos in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So to go from that type of stimulating type social job to manual labor, working 12-hour shifts, it was pretty long, monotonous, boring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had the idea while he was at work to, and he was wearing hearing protection because he was working around loud industrial type machinery. Boring. The job in and of itself was boring, but then obviously the plugs made it even more boring. At least he was able to hold on to, keep his hearing. Anyways, so what he had the idea, man, I wish these earplugs played music. He went home and did a Google search trying to find earplugs that played music for him to purchase just to make his workday go by better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the only thing he could find was forums of people asking for the exact same thing. And so that's when the light bulb went off. So the first thing that I want to throw out at you guys as far as a suggestion to, aspiring entrepreneurs is it's one thing to have a good idea, and it's another thing to have a good idea and to have a market that's already asking for that idea. So anyways, the light bulb went off and he went and purchased off the shelf parts down at the local store, earplugs off the shelf, earbuds off the shelf, and kind of went into mad scientist mode and pieced them together and made his first prototype, took him to work the next day, and his coworker immediately bought them from him.
Wow.
And so he went home the next day after that shift and threw up a website, a quick and dirty website, and then went and posted back to all the forums that were asking for earplugs with music and said, hey, you guys, I found a solution. Check out this website, right? So he was a little covert as far as, referring people to his website from those forums.
Yeah.
Anyways, it didn't happen quite as quick as I'm making it sound, but it's definitely, he went every other day without eating in order to save up the funds needed to buy the materials to make his first 100 units of plug phones.
Wow.
So,
couldn't he get a loan from you?
Yeah, can you believe that?
Well, I love this story because I think when you're an entrepreneur and you've got an idea, you will do by any means necessary, especially if you see the vision and you just know that people are hungry for what it is. You will do by any means necessary whatever it is to get it off the ground.
Exactly.
So you said him being in the real estate market. So yeah, he's going from a position of power and wheeling and dealing and doing deals and all of that to now he's working in glass.
Exactly.
And I can only imagine how much that was driving him crazy.
For sure. And that's, but the great thing about it is he still had that internal drive, to push through, working a 10, 12-hour shift at the glass factory, then coming home and working 8 to 10 hours a day on his idea. And that leaves 4 or 5 hours for sleep, right? But it doesn't matter because the excitement, the energy of this budding idea is what fuels you through the day. And, it obviously took some time to get things up and running and get things started. It was about 2 years later after Sean got going that I stepped in, and I have a bit of a similar story as far as, working 2 or 3 jobs and trying to hustle and always make ends meet. I was working as a caseworker for Child and Family Services for the state of Utah, and, always doing things on the side, trying to make ends meet. And, Sean and I had a family reunion, and he and I started chatting, and he told me what he was doing. And I said, hey, let me help you with some of the sales skills that I've learned over the last year. I quit my job with the state and started doing a door-to-door cold sales selling alarm systems. And I learned a lot doing that. And in the meantime, in the evenings, I was learning how to do SEO and link building and sell online. And the daytime, I was selling alarms, knocking on doors. I probably knocked on one of your guys' doors, but anyways, it was terrible.
Oh, so you were that guy. I think I offered you a glass of water.
I offered
you a glass of water there, Tyler.
Oh,
so.
Yes. I probably lost about 20 pounds doing that job because I was sweating an awful lot. But yeah. So yeah, I went to Sean and I said, you know what? Let me let me help you out. Let me apply some of my sales skills to see if we can increase traffic and increase our sales. And when I initially talked to him, we were doing $500 a day. He was doing $500 a day in sales. And now, you know, fast forward 5 years, we're doing about 7,000 to 8,000 a day in sales right now. So
that is awesome. And so when I think of the timeline, the real estate bubble kind of burst when, like 2008, 2009?
Yep.
Right around then. And then a couple years later, you know, he creates the product, and then you come on board. So you guys really haven't been at this that long.
No, so the company was viable. You know, so when I tell you, when I given you a 60-second version of Sean's story, it actually, you know, it was more like 2 years. But yeah, the company was viable in 2010. I came on in 2011, and I've been with the company full time. You know, I was working my full-time job and doing plug phones on the side, but I've been with the company full time for 4 years now.
Wow. So Tyler, one thing that I'm really curious about, you mentioned that you worked for the Department of Family Services.
Uh-huh.
And then you did a sales and alarms. I mean, talk about two completely different kind of scenarios. And I think, you know, I love to share with people, entrepreneurs, and, you know, people that dream of building something. I love to share where many of us have come from previously and how it has served you today in your current business. So
definitely,
what did you learn from dealing with families, and what did you learn from selling alarm systems?
So that's an awesome question, Julie. So I worked for the state for 6 years, and my primary role was working with foster kids, teenage foster kids, helping them to transition from being dependent on state and government care to living on their own. And a lot of these kids, because the state and the government does basically everything for them, they don't know how to provide for themselves. Some of them don't even know how to handle personal hygiene, for instance. Anyways, the work that I did at the state, it gave me a ton of exposure, a ton of opportunity to socially interact with people, problem solving, a lot of conflict resolution, you know, working with people from all sorts of backgrounds, all walks of life. And it was a good, it doesn't make sense to go from a social work type job to doing sales. But when you look at it in that manner, you know, being able to build social skills and interact with people, it was a perfect background for me to transition into sales from a psychology, social work background. You know, looking back on it, at that time, it didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And then going into sales, obviously, you know, there's, it was talk about, what's the right word? Just get my face kicked in every day, right?
Yeah.
Like going from a secure, quote unquote, government job to 100% commission job. It was super, super difficult.
Yeah.
But what that did for me was that helped me to really discover what I was made of. You know, we are all a lot tougher than we think we are. And to knock doors 10 hours a day and to have those doors closed on you, no. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I got a mortgage to pay. I got 3 kids I got to feed, right?
Yeah.
That was my motivation. That was my why. And I think all of us need to have that why. Like, there's got to be something more to drive us than money. And my kids and my wife were that why to drive me to keep pushing through those, you know, 105-degree summer days. And so a combination of the social skills, the people skills, plus a combination of that drive, that motivation, the dedication, I think it's what's helped me to help Plug Phones to be successful and where it's at today.
Oh, that is such a great story, and thank you for sharing it, because I think sometimes when we're doing things in our careers, we don't really know how it's going to serve us later on in our visionary jobs, or whatever it is, wherever we end up. And I know for myself, I've had some horrible jobs.
Yeah.
I've cleaned hotel rooms. I've driven a cab. I have been a babysitter, a landscaper. I know how to do drywall. I could come over and do some drywall if you can install the alarm system. We've got.
Okay. Yeah, we'll trade.
I've
I'll
waited.
sell you the alarm system. I don't know how to install it though.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you can sell it then. And I've waited more tables than I have hair on my head, but all of those things really helped inform me when I started superinterns.com. It really kind of informed me about so many things that I innately kind of took for granted. One of those things that you mentioned about developing relationships and really understanding how to work with people, I think I got that from waiting tables, because you have to multitask. You have to be nice to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, deal with the public. You were also doing that when you were selling alarm systems. And I think that's a great skill to have when you own your own business, or when you're part of a business venture. It really kind of helps you navigate and get to relationships and deal making. And I think it helps you progress very quickly in your business.
Oh, for sure. And one thing I want to mention, you probably experienced this, Julie, is, when I made the transition from, working from the state, like I said, I was there for 6 years. And so when I made that transition, I was 31 years old. And I was thinking in my mind, there's no way I can make this career change, right? Like, I'm too involved, I'm too entrenched in where I'm at. That's where I got my degree, was in psychology. And I knew it didn't have any long-term potential, but at the same time, I knew I had to get out of it. But at the same time, I felt like, what am I trying to say? I felt like I'm too old to start over, right? I'm too old to try to start something new. And that is absolutely not the case. And I've found that that's never the case, no matter how old you are. Like, there's always an opportunity to learn new things and to try new things. Keep doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Until the new thing that you're working on becomes successful. But don't ever doubt where you're at. And don't ever look at yourself and say, man, instead of graduating psychology, I should have graduated in business, because that's where the money's at. No, like, be grateful for where you're at and the skills that you've learned, and then take those things and add to them, and make your life better.
Wow. Fantastic advice. So Tyler, I want to move on now to Kickstarter, because that's why people came here. And I'm sure everyone's just dying to know about your Kickstarter story. But I just want to say, if for people who've been living under a rock, they might be scratching their head saying, I don't know what Kickstarter is. And Kickstarter is a crowdfunding site where, if you have an idea, if you have a product, if you have a service, if you have a dream, it could be a movie, it could be a theatrical play, it could be artwork, it could be something to do with cooking. Any of those things can be funded by the public. And it's a really great forum, because if you do have a great idea, you will very quickly recognize that you have a winner. Mm-hmm. And so, Tyler, explain a little bit about where you are in your Kickstarter and what's happened, because I think, this is such a great example. You're kind of the unicorn story in a way, because it doesn't happen to everybody. But anyway, I'd love for you to share with everyone what's happened.
Thank you. Well, great. Thanks for the compliment. So we've been producing, as a company, we've been producing wired versions of plug phones for a while now. And just really quickly, plug phones are the easiest way to describe it. They're earplugs with music. So we're not earbuds, but we're earplugs with music. And so what we specialize in is trying to, people that want to block out the environmental noise and be able to listen to their music at a comfortable level. That's where you'd want to use plug phones. Now, the cool thing about Kickstarter and plug phones, and where all this kind of works together and marries, is we've been, again, selling wired versions of plug phones for several years now. On Kickstarter, you can't do a Kickstarter for an idea or something that you've already been selling or that already exists, right? It has to be a new idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so our Kickstarter is for a wireless Bluetooth set plug phones. And the reason we came up with or decided to do wireless plug phones is because our customers were asking for it. We had people that wanted that product.
Yeah.
And they've been asking us for 2 or 3 years now. And so about a year ago, we decided to start working on it, and it's taken us about a year to develop our wireless plug phones. So, and the reason being is most of our customers are your typical earplug wearer, somebody that's working in a factory in an industrial type situation. And usually that wire that runs to your device, sometimes it gets in the way, while they're working, it gets snagged on a machine.
Sure.
A lot of our customers are welders, right? And so that wire will kind of start to stick to the skin, and as you move your head, it'll pull on the plugs. And so, that's why we came up with the wireless plug phones.
I love the wireless because, it could be something as simple as I can take a walk and I can knock my hand up against my earbuds, and next thing I know, they're around my ankles. And,
Yep.
So I think your product is just genius. And,
awesome. Thank you.
And so in your Kickstarter, tell everybody how much funded you have. How much money do you have in the bank?
So as of right now,
Go look and check it out. I'm feeding your habit, Tyler.
I know, it's terrible. It's like my gambling habit. I have to keep pulling. Right, I got to hit the refresh button and see how much more money we have. So we're at 598% funded. So we're just about 600% funded. Our initial goal was 35,000, and we're again 598% funded, 209,000, and we have 14 days left. So
you've got almost $250,000 in, young man.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting, huh?
Wow.
I'll put a pool in my yard when this is over, right?
I'm just wondering. Yeah, you should. I'm just wondering, what were you thinking on the first few days when you saw that you were going to hit 100% funded like that? What did you say what did you and Sean, what was that conversation like?
Well, we have a little term here that we use in the office. It's called the elevator dance. So back when Sean and I sold, we're back involved with real estate investing now, since he has some background in that. Anyways, back when we flipped and sold our first piece of property, when we were coming down the elevator from the bank, we did a little elevator dance. And so, yep, exactly. So we were doing the elevator dance when we hit that 100% mark. So we're stoked. This is a dream come true. That one of the coolest things about the Kickstarter campaign is not only the funding, but just as important to us as owners of the company is the marketing exposure. So, I wouldn't have this opportunity here with you today, Julie, and all the rest of the people that are part of this conversation. We just got featured on Inc.com. An article was posted a couple days ago about the company. And so, a local news company is going to publish an article on us tomorrow. So, to have that kind of exposure is vital to the growth of the company, one, but two, it's a big compliment, to have you and Evan reaching out to me to invite us to be a part of this today. It's great. And so what that does is there's only so much we can do as far as remarketing to our current customer base and to tell them about this new product, right?
Yeah.
But to have an opportunity in a platform through Kickstarter and then through you to be able to reach new customers that don't know about plug phones, that's where I think the company will start to reach that exponential growth.
It's just astonishing. And then when I think of all the years that people have suffered, so they've either suffered in silence, right? Because I'm in Seattle, Washington, and I'm surrounded by a construction cone. The whole city is a big construction site.
Yeah.
And I see these guys with their earplugs in, and I'm just thinking, this has got to be the torture test for them.
Oh, for sure.
Every day, you know, with the jackhammers and the earplugs.
Yep.
And now you've created this product that they can listen to music, they can listen to a podcast, they can get, you know, education.
Books on tape, for sure.
While they're working. It is just genius.
And we, you know, and so like we've seen a lot of, this is feedback that we've received from employees of companies, but also safety managers and things like that, supervisors. And they talk about, you know, a lot of these guys that are coming in, working their jobs. It is, like you just mentioned, it can be torturous. Obviously, people are grateful for the income, but at the same time, there's a little bit of drudgery. You know, shoot, I got to go in and do this same job, standing on the line every day, right? I got to operate another jackhammer. And we've gotten feedback from people saying, you know, now I look forward to going to work. You know, and so what happens is if my morale is boosted and I'm excited to go to work, what happens? That rubs off a little bit on my coworker. And so now we're excited to go to work. We're looking forward to it more than we usually would be. Plus, you know, and so it has a bit of a viral effect. And if I'm excited to go to work, I'm probably working harder, right? Less sick days. I'm not taking a 2-hour lunch break, right? And now the company as a whole, since the employees are more productive, the company is doing better. They're getting their jobs done quicker. Revenue is going up. And so I don't want to like say that we're the cure-all. Of course we're not. But if you can better somebody's day in some small way, for sure, you know, it's going to increase productivity.
Oh my gosh, Tyler, you were talking about that trickle down or up effect, that everything is connected. And I am such a big believer of if you do good here, great things will happen everywhere.
For sure.
And just fantastic. So, you know, my next question about Kickstarter, I just want to bring it back to that for a moment.
Okay.
And that is, you know, you guys were selling product and you were doing really well. What was the aha moment where you both looked at each other and said, we got to do a Kickstarter for this new product? What was it that, you know, really made you decide to jump in, you know, head first and do it? Because I know Kickstarter is a lot of work. I've got some numbers I'm going to share in a little bit. But what was that moment like?
You know, we've been considering doing a Kickstarter for probably 2 years now.
Okay.
And it was always like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then it got put on the back burner. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's talk about it later. And we just finally realized, you know what, we're leaving money on the table. 2, it's free marketing exposure, right? And it is a lot of work, but the amount of work that we put in to do it is definitely worth it. It's 100% worth it. And so it was that idea. Okay, you know what? The 10 hours a week that I'm spending playing Candy Crush, right? I can be spending that time designing my Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's definitely worth it. And so that was the aha moment to answer your question. It was, you know what, this is silly. We're leaving money on the table. We know that we'll be able to fund our Kickstarter campaign because we were getting 1 or 2 emails a day from our current customer base. And if you have that kind of if you have that many people that are telling you they want it, yeah, create a Kickstarter and, you know, throw it up there.
Well, you know, Tyler, you bring up a very good point, and that is, you're working hard anyway, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7. Even in your dreams, you're thinking about your work. It's very challenging to turn it off. I mean, I know you've got a family of, you know, 5 kids, you know, at least 1, maybe 2 in diapers. Is that right?
Yeah, 2 in diapers.
2 in diapers. So you got a lot going on over at the Knudsen family.
That's right.
And, you know, you've got a wife and you've got all these things going on, and that's your family time. But even then, it is challenging to turn off the entrepreneurial buzz that's always playing in your head. And if you know that you're going to do something and you do have a product that seems like it's, you know, people are interested in it and they're calling you about it and they're, you know, sending you a couple emails a day. I mean, Kickstarter is an awesome place to do it, which leads me to the next thing that I want to ask you about. Now, I know about Funded Today.
Yes.
And Funded Today is like a marketing company. And what they do, and I think Caroline's going to put up that, she'll put it up soon. There we go. Thank you, Caroline, so much. Funded Today is a marketing company. And what they do is really pay attention to, they've got all these, they've got algorithms, and they, you know, give you advice, and they kind of help manage the campaign for you. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, so going into this, I decided to take a 3-pronged approach to our Kickstarter campaign to make it successful. The first thing is we wanted to, okay, let me back up. The very first thing I decided to do was yes, exactly. So the very first thing that strategically that we wanted to do was to set a low funding goal. Right. So our funding goal is $35,000.
Okay.
Obviously, you need enough money if you get funded to be able to make the product or the project become a reality. But a low funding goal, it helps you to get funded quickly. And then once you're funded, and then there's that wow, aha effect. Like, oh my gosh, these guys are already at 100% in 2 days. That's amazing. Right. Yeah. And so other people are jumping on board because they know that it's going to be, you know, the project is going to be again funded, and people are going to get what they're paying for.
And one more time, you're almost at 600% funded.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to say it one more time. Sorry about that.
No, it's good. It's a good number to hear. So, so a 3-pronged approach that we decided to take was one, over the years, we have been collecting email addresses, and our customers have been signing up for our newsletter. And so we were going to campaign to our current customer base and let them know, hey, the product you've been asking for is finally here. Check it out. It's only available for pre-sale on Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter and buy it, right? And so all of our marketing to our current customer base on our Facebook page, Twitter, email campaigns that we did, and then we've got a banner on our website homepage. You know, it's sending everybody to the Kickstarter page. Yeah. Then the second approach that we took is we compiled a list of media firms, media outlets, and, you know, individual writers that we sent emails out to saying, hey, this is available on this date. If you guys are interested, you know, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to do an interview, right? And then the third approach is Funded Today, which you mentioned. And Funded Today, they specialize in helping Kickstarter campaigns to be successful, and they've done an awesome job for us. One of the things that they're super, super good at is marketing. So Facebook ads, marketing to lookalike audiences on Facebook. So as you would imagine, most of our customers, we kind of talked about this already, are your typical earplug user, that manufacturing construction type of guy or girl, sorry. Yes.
I was getting ready to scrapple.
I know. I remember. So,
You were good. You were good.
so, anyways, so what they do is, as some of you guys probably, you might know already, or have experienced, as you've been on Facebook, you you built out your profile, right? And you put
Yeah.
different things that you like I like to read these books, or I have this hobby. Well, Facebook keeps track of all that stuff. And
Right.
so I can go in and advertise to you based on what your likes are. Um, and so that's what they specialize in. And so we've really gone after anybody that can use plug phones. So not only people in the construction and manufacturing industry, but what about people on motorcycles, people that do motorsports, motocross, go to NASCAR, NHRA events. You mentioned, Julie, a little bit earlier, when you're running, you have a problem with your earbuds falling out. Well, now I'm going to market to people that are athletic or like to work out or exercise, because plug phones don't fall out. People are looking for that type of solution. You know, there's people that have concerns about, let's say flight travel, plane travel, or public transportation. They don't want to hear the noise of the train and or the chitter chatter that happens on the subway, right? They want to
Right.
be able to block out all that noise and just zone out on their way home from work. And so those are the people that us and Fund Today, in a collaborative effort that we're marketing to. And we're bringing in a lot of pledges through that lookalike audience, Facebook ads.
That is so cool. I would have never thought about motorcycles, but I've been on a motorcycle before, and I have to tell you, I felt like my ears were bleeding when I was done with that ride.
Oh yeah.
So there are so many areas. I mean, I saw a video of, and we're going to show the video in a little bit. I don't know if we're going to show it, but we'll put it up when we get to that part, because I'm going to talk more about video in a minute. But I saw somebody using your plug phones on a skydive.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I'll tell you what's cool is the Flying Bulls, the Red Bull skydiving team, the Flying Bulls in Austria.
Yeah.
They use plug phones. That's pretty neat, huh?
That is really, really.
And we didn't. They bought from us, and I saw their order come across. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! These guys are using our stuff.
That is so fantastic, Tyler. So I want to get back to Funded Today, because I think a lot of people may not understand. Now, Funded Today, being this marketing company, they actually don't get paid up front. They get paid on the back end. So when you get paid, they get a percentage of what you make. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they don't take everybody. So they only work with a select group of people. And because everybody wants to work with them, they can kind of say, you're not right for us, but Tyler and his cousin Sean and plug phones is perfect for us. So they're selective in that way, so that they have a much higher ratio of success.
Yeah. So that, that obviously, they can be selective about who they work with, so that, it helps them with their marketing efforts. They can say, we worked with these campaigns that have done this amount, and it makes them look really good.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, I just wanted to mention that, because I think some people don't know that there's these supportive businesses that can help you with your Kickstarter. And we're going to talk about virtual interns and how they can help you with your Kickstarter next. So just to remind everybody, I'm Super Julie Braun, and I'm here today with Tyler Knutson from Plug Phones. And we're talking about Kickstarter and his fantastic, amazing company with him and his cousin. And, they're doing some really great things in the world. So if you can't get a company like Funded Today to help you, then, and here's the big idea that I like to share, is that you can get virtual interns. You can get virtual interns to help you with your project, with your campaign. And it can be an amazing internship for them. It can give you extra help and hands and brains and, people to do stuff. And I have some numbers I want to share because we did a lot of research, and our team discovered that it takes an average of 40 hours a week for 4 months to have a successful Kickstarter campaign. And that's basically a full-time job. And it breaks that down to 720 hours of work with months and months and months of work after, because after you fulfill your campaign and the campaign's over, now you've got to fulfill all those orders.
Yeah.
So there's tons of work that goes with that. So what I'm wondering is, if you were to put a list together of some things that, people could or should do for you, what would that list look like? Where would you start? Would you have somebody just do all of your social media for you?
Yeah, I would love as a business owner, because I have there's a lot of other stuff going on right now besides our Kickstarter. Yeah. We have our daily orders to fulfill. I've got Amazon, eBay, our website to manage. We're going to a hardware show in Las Vegas next week. There's just a ton going on, obviously. And so me being a business owner and trying to have oversight over the company and make sure that everything is functioning, yeah. Sure, I need a ton of help with this, right? So to have somebody that manages the marketing, that manages my Facebook ads, and to be honest, those Facebook ads, the lookalike audiences that I talked about, it's not rocket science. It's definitely something that, somebody that has even just a preliminary background and, on Facebook, someone like an intern could definitely manage something like that. I have copy to write on my Kickstarter page. I got to take product shots. I got to create my video. I have to edit my video to make GIFs on the site, to manage the comments that are being posted on my page, to manage the messages that come across. It is a ton of work. And to be able to have a team surrounding me is very beneficial. And it allows me to, again, to come in and have an oversight over, like, I can go to my team, my Kickstarter team, so to speak, and say, how are things going today? And they can return a report, give me a half-an-hour report, and then I can go and make sure that the rest of my team is managing, like I said, my website or getting everything done for my hardware show, instead of me spending 20 hours a day just on Kickstarter, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, Tyler, is so often as entrepreneurs, being here in Seattle, Washington, we have buskers. I like to educate everybody on what a busker is.
Okay.
A busker is the guy. I've got a guy right down. I'm right at Pike Place Market, so the most famous market in the United States. And right down the street, there's a guy. And every afternoon, I take a walk. I go get a piece of fruit from the market, and this guy is busking on this corner, and he puts out his hat, and people put money in it, and he's standing on a big ball, and he's balancing on the ball. And then he has cymbals between his knees. He has an accordion, harmonica, a bowling pin on top of his head. And when he really goes crazy, he puts on the hula hoop.
Oh my goodness.
If you can imagine, it is so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine actually being that person until I think about when I first started my first business as an entrepreneur. And I said to myself, oh my goodness, I'm one of those people, that one-man band. I'm trying to do everything on my own. I'm the chief. I'm the bottle washer. I'm the cook. And I may not be good at all those things. I might be really awful at most of those things and maybe good at one or two things. And here I'm trying to accomplish it all. So, we have found that for entrepreneurs and startups in particular, they need help more than anybody. And they need to figure out how to go from wherever they are, which is usually, a very small team of people, limited resources. How do they go from that to having employees? Well, interns is a great bridge because in a way it's kind of like practicing with a bicycle with training wheels. You get to kind of practice on the interns. It's a lot like having a first child. You practice on your first kid. Yeah. You learn a lot. By the time the second one comes around, you know more. By the time the third one comes around, fourth, fifth, well, you got to your fifth kid and now you're a pro, right?
For sure.
And you're doing some things that you would not, you're kind of like, I'm not so sure about that. But you're doing better by the time you get to that level. And it's the same way with internship programs. You kind of get used to having people come in. And the thing that I love about interns, besides having tons of talent, I'm always astonished every day at how they figure out, they're geniuses. They figure out so many problems in our company. But one of the things is that they have taught me so much, and they've prepared me to have employees. And interns aren't just necessarily students. I think that's kind of the fallacy. That's where people always think, well, interns are students. About 65% or 70% of them are. But then the other 30% are what we call non-traditional interns. And those are the people that are the stay-at-home moms and dads. Yeah. They don't have anything on their resume for 5 or 10 years because they've been taking care of the kids. And now they're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Nobody wants to hire me because I don't have anything fresh on my resume. Well, when they do an internship, it immediately puts them back into the business world. And we have, unemployed professionals, and we've got people who are changing careers and all kinds of things. And virtual interns would love, love, love to work for a company like yours because you're one of those cool companies on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You guys are inventive. And I want to talk a little bit more about, before we move on to our next topic, I want to talk about some of the inventions that you've got planned. I saw somebody, I think it was Annette, that had commented, and she said, I want purple. Uh-huh. So she wants the purple plug phones.
Yeah.
And what's the particular style called? You've got a name for them, plug phones. What's the name of this particular?
The Liberate, the wireless.
Liberate.
Yeah.
Liberate. So she wants purple. Oh, yeah. Michael Connor also wants purple.
Okay.
You're getting product feedback already.
That's great. So one of the we have pink and purple wired plug phones right now. So we'll definitely we'll expand our models and our styles for the Liberate as time goes on. But yeah, if we got 2 people here that want purple, we'll do it.
Okay, great. Well, I'm sure there might be some Prince repercussions there too, where people want to celebrate in the purple. But what other kind of products? I know you can't give away all of your inside secrets, but do you have some product extensions that you guys are starting to think about?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're working on right now is to have what's called an active noise canceling mic. And so basically, and this technology exists already, but it's in the form of large earmuffs. And where you see it right now is they're earmuffs for shooters, where you can turn them on, and it's active noise canceling technology. And so what it does is, when I'm at the shooting range or when I'm hunting, I can communicate, and the active noise canceling, it amplifies the human voice, but when I shoot my gun, it immediately dampens that frequency, right? The frequency of the gunshot, so it's not hurting my ears. Well, so what we're working on right now is the same technology, but in plug phones. So it's obviously a lot smaller. It's not as noticeable. They're not big and clunky. And so basically that sound will come through the mic, and that mic reads the frequencies that are coming through it. And that's valuable in a lot of different environments other than shoot, the shooting range or hunting.
That's
So that's one
amazing
of the,
technology. That's pretty
yeah,
amazing technology that you guys have a handle on. I've never even thought of some of these things that you've spoken about today. So I feel like I'm getting schooled. How important? One more question about Kickstarter, and then we're going to go into getting questions because we're going to need to start wrapping up, Tyler. But how important has video been to your Kickstarter, and then not only that, but your website and all the other things? Because we've got video moguls, and those are some virtual interns that would love to work on some of the projects you've done. So tell me a little bit about, how has that all happened? And I think also Caroline's going to put up the link. Yeah, we're going to pin it right now. Awesome. Let me see if I can get it. Here's the video. I don't know if I can play it. I don't know if we can play it. Yeah, I think we can.
yeah, let's watch it if we can play it.
All right, let's watch it. The only thing I'm missing in this is I kind of want some sort of story being told, but it's really loud.
Yeah. Is it working on your end?
Yeah. Is it working on your end?
It's not, but I've seen it
No?
1,000 times.
I don't know if it's working can anybody else hear this, or am I the only one hearing it? Someone's going to tell us. I'll describe it. When the guy puts in the plug phones, he's listening to music, and obviously he's not hearing any of the engine. It's really an awesome video. I'm sold on your product just because of this video. Plus, I also want to jump out of a plane. Oh, you have to hit the play individually.
Oh, I see.
Interesting. Okay, thank you, Evan, for, letting us know about that. That's really awesome. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to stop it. But how important, Tyler, has video been to your product, to your website, to your Kickstarter, all of that, telling your story?
Oh, God, it's vital. I mean, in the world that we live in now, right, with everybody wanting to be entertained and to be able to have a story told to them immediately, the best way to do it is through video. And so we spent quite a bit of money. Like our biggest budget to create our Kickstarter campaign was on the video, and we felt like we needed to do our best to tell a very appealing story, and have it be high quality, so people think, when they see the video, like, oh, this company's legit, they know what they're doing, I have the confidence needed to back their project. And so, yes, video is vitally important, and it's super expensive. If there was a way to be able to get it for a few $1,000s less, yeah, I would, I could have taken those funds and put them elsewhere instead of, in the video. But to answer your question, yes, it's super, super important, and we try to fill our Kickstarter page with things that are entertaining, our Facebook page, and even if it's just short little clips, instead of, Facebook is moving more and more towards if you post videos on your Facebook feed as a company, Facebook will internally promote that more than they would just a still image. And so if I had somebody on my team, which I don't, but if I have somebody on my team that knew how to produce good quality videos, and even if it was a short, 15 or 20-second clip of somebody putting in their plug phones, hopping on their motorcycle and riding down the street, I would love it. That would be super helpful for the company.
Fantastic. So we got a question, and we had another question, and I think I may have lost it, but I'm going to look for it really quick. I think I actually copied and pasted it. I'll put it up again. And it was, well, would you ever do a Kickstarter again? So that's one of the first questions that we got, and then we'll answer the next one.
Yeah, I would definitely do it again. And I've got a couple other companies besides Plug Phones. One of those companies is a toy company, and we're thinking about launching a Kickstarter for our toys. So I would definitely do it.
Oh, fantastic. And now that you're so knowledgeable about it, I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to be so much less painful this time.
of
Don't you
course.
think?
Oh yeah, the first time I learned how to make a peanut butter sandwich, it was like torture. But after that, I eat them pretty much every day now, because it's super easy.
Tyler, you and I are a lot alike because I always talk about cupcakes.
Yeah.
So I talk about if you know how to make the cupcake, visualize the cupcake and then build to the cupcake. So create the recipe, figure out, and you've got your analogy and yours is PBJs.
That's right.
All right. That is awesome. We've got another question here. Realty auction. Where do you hire a VA for Kickstarter? Well, great question. A VA is different from a virtual intern. So a VA, there's lots of things online you can find. In fact, if you go to Google and just type in VA in your neighborhood. So if you are located, like I'm located in Seattle, Washington, I would put Seattle VA. It doesn't necessarily have to be in my own backyard, but I'd love to have somebody in my own backyard, maybe to meet them for coffee or whatever. And VAs are very good at tasks. So they're great at task-oriented, habitual kind of projects. I'm going to give you an example. I have an assistant. I love her. She is fantastic. All she does for me is go through my email every day. So every day she reads my email. She answers questions. She, messages me when it's something urgent, if it's a new client, if it's a new opportunity. She'll let me know because I don't have time to go through 500 or 1,000 emails every day. And because we've kind of set up a rhythm here, she's got it down. That would not be good for a virtual intern. A virtual intern needs to do more of a project that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A video is a great example. So if you need video, that's a great project for a virtual intern because they can strategize with you. Where's it going to be? What does it need to look like? What's the content? Who's the audience? They can help film it. They can help edit it. They can help market it for you. They can get VSEO done for you. They can get it up on YouTube. They can get it on your website. There's a lot of things that they can do. So that's the big difference. But if you're looking for a virtual intern, I'm going to give my thing away tonight. Before I do that, I just want to say to startups and entrepreneurs, if you have any more questions, put them down. I'll answer them after the show is over. I'm happy to do that. And I want to know, what are you going to do if you are a entrepreneur or startup like Tyler? What is it going to take for you to get your Kickstarter done? And, if you need help, here's my offer tonight. For anyone who's watching this, and if you sign up to meet me with Kickstarter, and Caroline's going to put up the link. If you sign up and put Kickstarter in my scheduler, I'll meet you for half an hour. I'll give you a half an hour of my time. And I'll also give you this report, which is Virtual Intern Projects for Kickstarter. It is a 20-page report. It's worth thousands of dollars because it's going to save you so much, but I'll give it to you for $98 when we meet. I will hand it over. I'll put it in a PDF or, I'll email it to you, and I'll answer all your questions about what virtual interns can do to help you get your Kickstarter off the ground. And Tyler, thank you so much for coming. I want everyone to please connect with Tyler. He's right here. You can connect with him on his, I think your Twitter right away. You've been an
Yeah.
awesome guest.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great to be a part of this. I appreciate you guys' time.
Yeah, and we will get you this recording. And everybody, thank you so much for coming. Next week's show, same time, same place. And the topic is going to be for career seekers, and it's called How to Make Social Media Work for Your Career. Signing off from superinterns.com. Have a super day. Bye, everyone.